Welcome to another edition of SSP TV, and we're here on the lovely Linear Fisheries St Johns, an iconic sort of day ticket water, probably the most popular day ticket water in the whole country. Plenty of big fish, lots of different lakes, and I'm here with a bit of an expert on these waters down at Linear. He's had plenty of fish over the years, has been very successful on St Johns, on Oxleys, on B1, B2, and that's Russ Guise. So, not too bad. So we thought we'd hook up with you today because we're down for 24 hours, and you had a lovely fish this morning, didn't you?
Yeah, managed to bag one early on, yeah.
And what was that on? What was your sort of presentation? What was your sort of, when you started off, I know you've been here a couple of days.
Yeah.
What did you sort of, we're on a point swim, one of the point swims. What did you sort of, how did you approach it?
Yeah, I mean, I turned up and it was fairly busy, I'll be honest with you.
It's always busy.
Yeah, it is. I dropped lucky. The guys on this swim and the next swim that you're in were pulling off. So obviously I bucketed this one, had a look round. I went around, looked round all the others. Really fancied this one. I know it wasn't specific. We could have gone on any of the lakes, really.
Did you see anything out there at all?
I saw fish rolling, not really in these swims, but the guys had results. So I figured that they'd basically been pushed off a little bit. But the big thing was the guys hadn't really done a lot of bait. They'd done enough to buy bites, and it seemed like that's what they were doing. So I kind of stuck with this one, knowing the wind and the conditions were going to sort of favour this, really. The winds, as you can now, it's just turned perfectly, and the fish are starting to bosh again. We saw absolutely loads the first morning I was on. They were literally bouncing. I mean, it was like they got a trampoline out there. I must have seen 50, 60 rolls.
They do show well, don't
they? They do, which is a big advantage on most of these lakes. On Manor can be a little bit, I mean, I haven't done that much time on Manor, but it can be a little bit more moody than the rest, which is kind of the nice thing about it, really. But Oxleys, St Johns, B1 definitely, if they're there, you'll know about it. They'll be bashing out and your buzzers will be going. So yeah, I picked this one really. It does command quite a bit of water. You're kind of cutting off the side bank, the social bank down there.
I think it's quite important when it's this busy. It's always busy, 365 days a year. So if you own a little bit of water, you've got a little bit of water here, haven't you? And you can apply your bait.
Some of the better catches I've had on here has been based around my ethos of protectable water.
Yeah.
If you can get a spot, even if it's only a little tiny spot in a swim where you're confident that the fish will be confident in, and you can manipulate a baiting situation to get them to, get the best out of it, whether it's buy one bite and move off, or maybe sit out and get 10, 12 fish. As long as that's protectable, no one else, not so much can get to you to pinch a fish, but to ruin it by wrecking the situation that you've created, then that is a massive advantage. And these two swims do give you that. They definitely do give you that. Yeah.
But I noticed you put quite a bit of bait out, didn't you?
I do, mate. Yeah, I'm a bit of a bait monster. I am. I'll be honest. I do like my maggots, and I've got the nickname maggot down here because of the winters bashing a load of maggots out. But I also love my boilies and my pellets. So I stand to stick with the 12 mils through the colder months. But this is my first session on St Johns this year, which has given me the chance to actually hit it properly with what I call real bait. The first night and the second night, I'll just give you the totals for what we've put out. I also baited a bit. I've spread a bit over to where you are. First night I did 7 kilo.
It's a lot of bait, isn't it?
It is a lot. It's a lot of bits and bobs, but giving it 10 fish feeding out there, that'll be gone.
There's a lot of fish here, isn't
there? There are a lot of fish, and they do like a munch, and they love their boilies. They love the pellets.
They do love their bait.
You've also got the cats, which, let's face it, one they inhale once, and there's a kilo gone, and a rig, and the other rods. But 7 kilo the first night, half and half pellet, and half boilies.
What boilies were they?
They're the System X, and I use a mix of the colours, and I did use a mix of the sizes as well. So we've got the beige and the dark silk, bag of each basically, and one of each of the sizes. So I've got a 12, a 16, and the bigger, larger ones, freezer and shelf life as well. Always use a combination. Definitely.
Different sizes in there, different colours.
Some of it I prepared my hemp the day before we came down, and I put 2 kilos of the freezer bait 16s in with the hemp just to start washing it out colour wise, so they can see some that are prepped up really.
That's quite an important point really, isn't it? On a water like this, that where it sees a lot of bait, a lot of different bait, personally I reckon they wait until it's been out there a little while.
They have a good look at it.
When they're not having it,
they do.
They're not at the moment really having it, they sort of like they're a bit more cautious.
Yeah.
I mean, they've learned over the years, haven't
For
they?
definite. These fish are.
Wedge days.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of fish around the country are fished for sort of every day of the year, and these fish, I think they thrive on the fact that they can now, come across a freshly baited swim and know it's there and leave it for 2 days. Because in general, Fridays the bait goes in, Saturdays it's there, Sundays they start picking it up, sort of thing. So that 3-day principle, which I learnt back on Horton years ago, well, and Rosebery, it's a definite, it's a given that the longer it's there, the more acceptable it becomes to them if they're going to eat it.
And just say you was. You was getting a few bites all the time.
Yep.
I mean, I know you've had one this morning.
Yep.
You had a real nice scaly 22 pound mirror. Beautiful.
Yeah, it was lovely fish.
Really fish, sort of out the blue. But they were out there the day before. So say you had 5 fish, which is really possible in a morning.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, it's more than possible. Yeah.
What would your levels? Would you put another 7 kilo out? Would you bait up again? Would you?
Because I've got bait prep now in the bucket soaking.
Yeah.
I would I'd quite happily go with a minimum of what I had yesterday.
So you bang it out.
So yeah, I'd be raw boilies out there today. If I'd had the 5, then I'd class it as a clean out.
Yeah.
I'd have been done basically. There's not a lot.
Eating out there, because I've seen them fizzing up. And they're just really on edge, I think.
Yeah, I think that one made a mistake. Hopefully the small ones are making a mistake first. I mean, 22 is a nice fish. It's not a small one, but it's not even half of what's in here.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I've bought a green ticket off my missus for another night, so I'm hoping that I can do the same. I will bait up later, but I'm going to err on the side of trying to buy some bites in the morning. I'm going to give it 5 kilo of boilie, most of which is washed out with a bit of hemp, and I'm going to go heavy on.
Same mix again.
Same mix. I'm going to go very heavy on the pellet though tonight.
Yeah.
Just so I can open the area up a little bit more, so them fish sitting off the back are gonna, if they are sitting off the back of the actual bait for now, they can have a few spoms. Yeah, I'm fishing 22 wraps here, so I'll put a few at 24 and a few at 18, so that they can find a few that definitely ain't got the hook baits in, and something that, but only single spods out there. So, but that'll be there'll be a massive bait right where I'm catching. Well, I've had the one fish from and where I saw them bouncing yesterday, and then I'll try and mix it up a little bit and put a few little bits and pieces out that they're not expecting to find.
It's interesting, but you can have some real big hits on these.
You can, you can't get the rods in sometimes.
And it does pay to put, if you're down for 2 or 3 days, put a big bit of bait out.
Yeah.
And position your 3 rods different sort of areas around that bait.
Yeah.
And you will 9 times out of 10 you'll at least get one.
That's it.
You've primed yourself to have a big hit as well at the same time.
Yeah, my time on Oxley's has been absolutely amazing for me. I tend to hit it very hard again with bait, but I'd start off with a lot of pellets, and we still use maggots on there. But I tend to bait as if I'm going to have what I class as a good session. A 2-day session on there of late has been doing me 10 to 15 fish.
That's mad.
Which is,
I know from the catch reports you've been sending in to us is that you've been doing really well on that mixture of System X, of the beige and the different sizes and the dark seal.
I think it makes a big difference having the 2 colours.
It's just giving them something else to think about.
Yeah,
whilst they're trying to feed.
I like the 2 colours mainly because I think you can. I take the lighter colour, the beige, and use that as the visual bait when they fish swim across it. The dark silt, you can put it out there, but it's giving off all the food source, it's giving off the flavour, the smell, without actually being too shocking. It's like having 7 kilos of bright white.
You look at it, it looks like with the beige, it's like it could be a wash. It's washed out already.
Definitely
and
is.
You've got your normal boilies, which someone would use here, the darker ones, so they're like, oh, we'll try those. We'll try, and the swim's continually working for you because you've got the 2 different colours.
That's right. Yeah, definitely.
Sizes,
and I think with the size ratios that I use down there, I still put the bigger baits out, the freezer baits, and the 18s and 20s. I still put them out, but I've yet to have a tug on one. I've had a couple of fish on the 15 mils, but 90% of my fish have come to very simple rigs with a 15 mil and a little topper, either that or the wafters. Yeah. Just 2 wafters with a little bit of lead popped in the bottom, just to drop them as a snowman.
When I fished it years ago, it's always been sort of a small bit sort of water, isn't it?
Yeah,
like 12 millers or a bit of corn.
Yeah, definitely, a corn's brilliant down there.
12 miller with a bit of plastic corn.
Yeah, a bit of flip flop. So it always works.
Things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So what? Let's have a look at one of your rigs that you.
Yeah, I mean, for 99% of my time, this is the rig that I caught all my fish on basically last year. I haven't used proper pop-ups other than straight off the hook, but. I am a very, very, very sort of. Some people call me archaic. Like it's old school.
Bag rig. You use that.
I just attach small bags. That's all I ever do. I very rarely fish solids. If I do, it's the same thing but half the length. Yeah. It's a soft braid. I mean, I'm using the ProLogic gear at the minute.
Yeah.
Find it very, very thin, very supple. Takes the colour well, because I do colour it, even though it is camouflage. What's that, 8 inches long?
Yeah.
Drop off in line.
Drop off so you get rid of the lead.
The lead is cut down. The lead tubes are cut down just because I like everything as neat as possible.
Yep.
I don't like a load of bits of of metal everywhere. Sliding ring, very, very simple, with
and you just
a loop on the end of there. That loop basically is the key to, I think, most of my catches, because it allows me to put duplicate a hair on there with a piece of dental floss, put a single, 16, 15, little snowman, or obviously.
So it's quite versatile. You can just tie on.
It's literally a bunch of maggots tied on, knotted over, no extra metal work, no clips, straight through there. 2 double overhands, job done.
You can stick,
Away we go.
You can stick any sort of hook bait on there, really, can't
anything
you?
at all, anything at all. 2 bits of flip flop, maggots, pop up. Just I tend to use the wafters a lot with it, because it just literally just sit like that.
It's nice, doesn't it?
Nothing, mate. Nothing. There's no revolution there. It's dead simple.
Nice,
bit of ProLogic softcore, Viper. It's brilliant stuff. Yeah.
And how about your pop-up rig?
When I do use a pop-up, again, I tend not to do too much. There's no rocket science there. I've got 2 basically. I've got this one, which is the one I use most of the time, because I tend to use, if I'm using a pop-up, I tend to either use it an inch and a bit like that. So it's just a short shank hook with a. It's a coated braid.
It's close to the close to the bottom, isn't it?
It basically sits like that, and that acts as the swivel of a 360.
You see it moves around.
And if I want one a little bit higher, I just use a longer shank hook.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, it is. That's everything. And the beauty, the reason I'm using a coated rather than a soft is, if I'm using pop-ups, it's generally over a wide spread of just boilie. I mean, these are going out tonight because there's going to be more boilies out there than anything else. Apart from, I will be keeping the one on the bottom bait, because I'm going to go 3 on a spot. One that I caught on today with a snowman, because I'm still going with the pellets, but I'm going to give it a lot of round ones tonight. So these are going out, and I like to cast these because I'm fishing 3 on a spot tight. So I use a stiff hook link, so I ain't going to get the tangles with a braid. It's dead simple. So everything else is the same, and obviously I use a clip when I'm using.
To get rid of the lead straight away.
Basically, you drop the clip straight away. These are the ProLogic ones, so that if you do crack off or you get snagged, the fish basically it pulls straight off. So you end up with just end up with the hook link for the fish to get rid of. But it means that with a clip I can cast out without having to put bags on or bits of foam or anything like that, because it acts like a kicker and it just pushes it away. So
nice rig, simple, sort of.
Very, very simple.
They do what they're meant to do, and obviously you've had a lot of success with them.
Yeah, as long as it ends up with a fish in the net, then they're doing their job. If I start dropping fish, I might have a tinker and a little bit, but 90% of it is the soft braid with a little tiny 10p bag. You can dip it in the SSP glug.
Nice, and just
brilliant.
Enough for a bite.
If you dip it in the glug, you get away with casting them in the rain, which it tends to do a lot when I'm fishing.
The pop-ups, were they 16mm?
16mm, 16mm, and I don't differentiate. If I've got a mix out there, I'll open the lid and go, and whatever I pick up, that's the colour. If I've got 2 dark ones out there, so be it. At the end of the day,
they work just as well as
they work as
both,
brilliant. So. I'm tending to go for, on my own, the lake that I run, I'm tending to go for the dark ones at the minute. Mainly because we have got a bit of coot activity, to say the least.
That's another thing. I noticed that I wasn't getting as many bird life pickups. With the dark.
They'll still find them. They'll still find them because they're persistent little fellas, aren't they?
Yeah. Just puts them off a little bit.
And if you've got a few of them beige ones out in the mix, they tend to pick them up first. So you get at least 10, 15 dives, and then you always top the beige up to keep them off. I mean, it has worked for me. I've kept the rigs in position. It's not too desperate because they're nice, solid pop-ups. If you do get a little pickup off a bird, in general it will drop, and these rigs are self-setting, so it's not a major issue.
That's a big bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're in weed, you've got an issue. Obviously, you've got to rechuck. But yeah, it's just my preference at the minute on that water. Whereas here, it's whatever comes out the pot.
Okay.
Quite happy.
Thanks for showing us your rigs and your little insight how you're fishing St Johns.
It's a pleasure.
And we'll meet up again probably in 3 or 4 weeks' time with Russ and
cool.
Go up maybe Oxley's or B1 and see how you approach that. If it's any
because it is a bit different to here. Yeah,
which will be interesting. So thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and all the products and everything else. Have a look at there's a load of how to use the products and hints and tips and that. Go to our website www.sspbaits.com, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot, Russ.
No problem. See you again soon.